What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we are going to be going over probably one of the most popular heroes in the game, especially for newer players just starting out in the game, and that is Horus. So Horus is probably one of the top 2 to 3 best first E5 heroes to build. We have an older guide on the channel that seems to be doing well, but I think it's time to update the information on him. So let's jump into it. We're going to start off with artifacts. We're going to go over stones. We're going to go over gearing, and finally void imprinting. So let's go over artifacts first. As you guys know, probably one of the most popular ones you will see on him, it's probably going to be Withered Armor. Withered Armor gives the bonus HP for a shadow hero that has it equipped. It is the same thing as a Fearless Armor, which we will put down in the tier right below it. Fearless Armor, you know, is basically Plate of Courageous now. Same name, just slightly different. But it does, of course, have that faction bonus. The extra HP is very, very helpful, but there are other artifacts that are really going to help him as well. A couple of those are going to be Splendid Magic Stone Sword. So the way that Horus works is every 3 attacks he receives, he will counterattack and heal. Well, if you have a Splendid Magic Stone Sword, that does mean that he can only take 25% of his HP per hit, which means he will heal before he goes down to 0. It is very, very good. One thing to remember, Radiant allows you to take 35% damage per hit, so that will not help out. Again, guys, just a quick reminder, Horus is a PvE and Sealand and maybe even Tower of Oblivion hero only. He is not for PvP. Don't even consider it. I mean, you can try to optimize him for PvP, but at the end of the day, he's not a PvP hero. He is an early game hero and a Shadow Sealand 20 solution. Outside of that, I would stay away from it. Another one you can use very good on him for Sealand especially is an upgraded crown, doesn't matter what one it is, glittery, radiant, splendid, they're all very, very good for him. But besides that, those are the big ones. There are some other options you can run. One of them, of course, being an upgraded Antlers Cane. So Antlers Cane can work with him as well to get Sealand 20 done. Antlers Cane will probably be his best one as far as overall PvE performance goes. And I kind of it's kind of a toss-up where I want to put it. Probably in the S tier, just because if you are going straight PvE, he's actually quite a good slot 1 tank PvE hero. And if you get an upgraded Antlers on him, it can be really good. You can also run upgraded Antlers in Sealand 20 with him as well. So those are the different options. Of course, that is going to be a very glass cannon type build, so be prepared. Outside of that, you can use things like Crown on him. I haven't really seen many people use it, but an upgraded A and B does have some applications for him. Regular A and B, while it does have block, he doesn't really need that block, so I wouldn't say it's amazing. It is okay. I would put a regular Antlers Cane on the list just for PvE damage dealing purposes. Outside of that, though, there are really not that many other artifacts that are great on him. You're not going to want Punisher Staff, things like that. One thing to consider, and I always overlook, is an upgraded Torch. So upgraded Torch is not all that bad. It will take the big hits he receives in, lower it, and then deal damage over time instead. That can synergize very well because it gives him time to do more counterattacks and get more healing off. Of course, Candy Bar can have some uses as well. You know, I'll actually put Magic Stone Sword 1 tier up as well, just because it is damage reduction and it works so well with him. But the control immunity isn't really worthwhile. Same with the Candy Bar. I mean, it does give him more tankiness, so I might actually put it up to B tier. Mainly because, yes, it'll make him immune to a CC effect, which doesn't really bother him because his counterattacks make him break that CC anyway. But if someone tries to put that CC on him again, we'll get all damage reduction. So it can have some good synergy. You know, the more I think about it, the more I almost think I want to put it up a tier. But we'll leave it there. Besides that, though, he does not synergize with damage artifacts, really. Punisher, again, he's not going to do all that much with it. Kiss a Ghost, he's not going to do that much with as well. Although, Kiss a Ghost, I would bump up a tier. Other things like Rui, he doesn't have control effects. It does give him HP, yes, but overall not that great. Echo of Death, you could probably throw somewhere on this list as well. But overall, he is a very tanky-oriented hero. He does have some bonus benefits if you do want to run him a little expensive. But that's pretty much it. Jumping over to his stones. So there's a couple stones that are pretty much top tier for him. Of course, the best one from what we've seen is going to be that block HP stone. It's just very, very good. It synergizes well. The other one you can run, depending on the artifact you have on him, is going to be a block attack stone. So it's more offensive, but of course you need to have those upgraded defensive artifacts to really make benefit of that. You want the block on the stone, of course, because the higher the block chance, well, you need to block to get the counterattack. So you need to have a certain amount of block to guarantee that. But if you are going straight up PvE, there are some of those other stones that will help him out. But again, it's pure PvE. I would probably even drop some of these in here as well. And then, of course, you don't really want crit damage on him. You don't really want speed on him at all either. There are some other ones that you can probably slot in here. While they're not as optimal, I kind of want to include them on the list. I'm not putting any of the speed artifacts on here. I'm not even going to put the crit attack one because, again, I don't think it's a good one. So this is a kind of a good list to go off of. Again, the block stones are pretty much all you should be going for, unless you want to go straight for PvE, and that's when the attack and the attack holy damage stones work pretty good. So now that we've gone over how to set up Horus as far as his stone, his artifact, let's go over the couple options for gearing. So typically you're going to run your Horus with a full warrior set or full 6-star set. This is one hero running a 2-2 split setup is actually not optimal. You do not want to be running this right here. You'd think he wants to be a tanky hero with high HP, but attack does matter on him. You do want to go all in on that. Of course, we have like a block HP stone here, which is, in my opinion, the best one, gives you the most flexibility, but you need that extra attack, and having that block helps as well. The extra attack is going to help him heal more when we go over the skills here in a second, so that is really important. And then there's also a couple different ways to run his enabling. So overall, you typically want to run a 1-1-3-1-2 setup on him. This is very, very strong for him. Unbending for Sealand is probably one of the most important things, and you need to make sure your hero is tanky enough to not proc it until rounds 6 to 7 to have the most optimal chances. And of course, it's just the best way to do it. Now, if you're running PvE, you're going for like a pure PvE setup, one thing you can typically do with him is run a very, very offensive build. Depending on who you're facing in PvE, if all they have is CC and they don't have like attack reductions or anything, you can run a shared fate as well. But Purify is still one of the go-tos you normally want to use. Of course, if you are running a tank mode, you are going to want to stick with the original setup here. A 1-1-3-1-2. I have seen some people swap from Shelter to Vitality to have extra healing. That's really good as well. And I've actually seen some people use Resilience in certain scenarios as well. But one thing to remember in Sealand 20 and Shadow, you need to have that Purify. You need to get rid of the dot because the dot deals tons of damage. Besides that, the two skins he has are really good. This one is more offensive oriented, the Bloody War God. I like the look of it personally, HP, attack, and crit damage. And the other one, of course, is damage reduction, attack, and block. This one will be the better one for Sealand in my experience. We will get to the imprints in a second. One thing you guys always ask about is going to be, not the monsters, the guild tech here. Oh, we're not in a guild. So one thing you always want to make sure you prioritize when you're doing Shadow Sealand is you want to get your anti-mage, anti-mage, anti-ranger, and anti-priest. I really wish I could look at it right now. You need the anti-class damage reductions. They're really important to have because, of course, he needs to be as tanky as possible. Anti-priest is one you normally don't go into, but for Sealand's purposes is very, very important to go in on it on Horus. I believe the other one is Ranger. I think think you fight a ranger. That's the boss mob in the back. You, of course, can't get anti-warrior because you are a warrior. That is something to consider. Now, when we're talking about void imprinting, this is going to make him from a Sealand 18-19 hero maxed out to a Sealand 20 very easily. Now, of course, without any void imprints, you can get Sealand 20 done with a bunch of baby ticks on your team. But if you cannot afford to get baby tickses, all you have is ice trolls, maybe some other CC heroes, a Death Sworn to apply a burn dot, you are going to need to get some upgrades on him. So Void 1 is going to give him more attack and HP. Void 2 is going to be increasing his attack and crit damage every time a hero on the battlefield releases an active ability. So you want to try to have them live a couple rounds to get some of those off. But the big one, the really big one, is Void 3. So we have been able to get Void 3 Horus done in Sealand 20 with 0 Tix copies. We used pretty much just the normal Ice Troll army with the Death Sworn to keep that burn dot going for the Phoenix. This right here is huge. So every 3 successful blocks, this is what we were talking about earlier, Horus dispels all effects of being controlled on him, why he always breaks out of CC, and deals 25% of max HP damage against 3 random enemies. Damage, of course, capped at 2,500% of his attack and restores 50% of the damage dealt. So that's pretty big. 25%, 2,500, 50%. His normal ability here is 20, 2,500, 40. So you can potentially deal 5% more damage. But the big thing too is you're getting all that HP and attack through all the nodes in imprinting, and you're getting 10% more healing, which actually pays off a lot. Now, if you really want to go overboard, you can go to V4, but let's be honest, V4 is expensive. Getting to here is about 2.5 million to get to Crimson Contract. To get from V3 to V4 is another roughly 2 million, so it's a long way. It's 2.5? It's like 2.49 or something like that, I think. But this one's reasonable. After a while, you'll be able to do it. Again, early game, you're probably only going to get to about Void 2, and you're going to need those baby Tixes with you, so definitely consider that. But Horus is by far one of the best early game heroes. He's also a great hero to build if you haven't built a Tix yet and you want to get Sealand progression. He is also the best solution for every mem wave in tower now. Now that you can actually upgrade his power through void imprints, he can even beat the highest difficulty mem wave in tower. So that's where he's going to shine. He's going to help you early game in PvE progression. He's just an overall well-rounded early game hero while struggling in PvP. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let me know if you need any other information about Horus. Again, let me know who you want to see next in this Hero Guide series. See you guys next time.